Today we'll be talking about Black Panther, starring Michael B. Jordan and Chadwick Boseman. So you may notice over here, uh, there's a little poster of Black Panther that I got in a Geek Fuel box last week. Yeah, I get those. I like it. I think the red is a fitting color just for the conflict that Black Panther has to go through. Um, I'll be honest with you and level with you. I'm really not one of those diehard, read the comics kind of guy. Um, I really haven't even taken the time to watch every single movie in the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I've seen, probably half to 2/3 of them. But yeah, I mean, there's still plenty that I got to catch up on. Um, I did see Thor Ragnarok not too long ago, however, and they had Black Panther, as a little bit in there. I'm not spoiling really anything by saying that. He's just helps them out through a few things. Um, so I was looking forward to this movie. Um, and I waited probably quite a while because I I don't know. I didn't really give in to wanting to, you know, sit through, droves and droves of people. I had the luxury of watching this today, as of today anyway, the Monday of President's Day weekend, the actual day itself. Um, and it was, a 4 p.m. showing, and it was 85% packed. And that was after the 2 o'clock showing was sold out when I got there. Um, so clearly, this movie was hyped from the, pretty much from the get go. And what do I think of it? Well, we'll get into a few different sub points. As a whole, I would say I don't regret spending the money going to have, you know, gone to the theater and actually seen this on the big screen. I think it was a helpful thing to do, really, just to get you suckered into the world. I think that's what most movies in the big theater do, though. So what makes this one different? The visuals are great. The landscape is fun. I do like how they are in the middle of Africa and they really have a whole new set of rules they can play with. Just in terms of developing the MCU. Um, you know, Wakanda is this, yeah, just this land that exists in the MCU, but not really elsewhere. But um, I think that could be a good and bad thing. I think it makes for a great new place to explore and have all this new civilization. I think one thing that kind of is a deterrent is just really the lack of inclusion for anything else in terms of the MCU. I I probably just didn't really come in with the expectations though that I was supposed to, which I didn't know those were a thing. But I was kind of like, okay, I guess nothing else is gonna happen. This is really a Black Panther origin story. Okay, um, I don't think that's spoiling anything either. We can talk about those later. Um, I actually liked quite a bit of the acting here. Really, some of the better ones were Daniel Kaluuya. Um, he was actually the main guy in Get Out, a film I really did like that had some similar race similar struggles in regards to race and your place. Yeah, where some people in both that movie and this movie felt that they were being preached to. I didn't really feel that with Get Out. I feel that a little bit with Black Panther. I think one thing that they really did that really just made it come off as more preachy is that they have this guy who's like a U.S. pilot, like a former Air Force pilot, and agent for the CIA, and he just kind of is in the right place at the right time um, during one of the struggles in South Korea. Yeah, funny timing for that movie to come out during the Winter Olympics in South Korea. But he gets brought along, and you kind of see what they're really trying to do with him in this movie. And it's that they're trying to just show him as just this kind of white guy that's just there. And when he speaks up, most of the time he's an idiot, and he's pretty much told to shut up, and stop talking to all these people because the black folks that are all around, know better. Yeah, I mean, it's about as preachy as you can get to the definition of preachy. Pretty much told to shut up and be put in your place. Um, yeah, I would really point that though to what's a good way to put it. I think really it's just part of this narrative. I think that the rest of the story does enough to really deter from just killing everyone that's not like you. The bad guy in here, or I guess you can say he's the bad guy. The Michael B. Jordan's character, Killmonger. He's pretty pissed because of some spoiler breaking things that happened with him, and he turns out to be a descendant of this Wakanda land, and he wants to come back and take over the kingship that the Black Panther that's newly inherited the throne after his father died is holding, and he's trying to figure out what to do with it and how to be a king, and as opposed to just a warrior. Um, so I think having that character study, I think that was really fun to watch it unfold and to come together. Um, I think where this movie really could have improved would be, the inclusion of other characters in the universe. Um, there is there is an inclusion of one character at the very end, and then the second post credit scene. Honestly, I'll make a rant about that, coming up soon. But yeah, that's the only character at the very end that comes in that is not Black Panther or any of these folks. So really, with the exception of that scene, this could have totally been a standalone movie. So, which makes you wonder, why it's in this cinematic universe. I, in my opinion, if you're gonna frame a movie like it's as a part of this universe, and every little detail from this one plays into other details of other movies, it seems kind of odd to have so much of it devoted to this standoff story without even having any tie-in of interaction. How does how does Thor play into it? Black Panther plays into Thor's development throughout, and he plays a part in the Avengers. So how do the Avengers come into play during any of this? Am I just watching some movie about some Black Panther elsewhere, or am I watching the Black Panther that's part of the Marvel canon? And the answer is obvious because of how it's framed in terms of being a movie. But if it was actually supposed to be how you're supposed to treat it, what would that mean? So this is the spoiler part, okay? Okay, so really talking about this movie now. The interesting thing about Killmonger, or Michael B. Jordan's character, the villain in this movie, is that he is actually the son of the new Black Panther's uncle. So before Black Panther's father, the previous king, died, he actually killed his brother, this new prince's uncle, um, due to due to some disagreements that were going on in terms of other things happening. And this other brother had fled out to Oakland, California, and had a kid, and that kid that they had was Killmonger. That's the big twist in this movie of sorts. He's a rotten son of a gun, but you don't really know why until then. So okay, what do they do with that? Well, Killmonger comes around, breaks into different kinds of things, can manipulate people to do what he wants, and so on and so forth. He uses this guy that's played by Andy Serkis, and he's just a pretty much deranged son of a gun, and they have some pretty cool, fight scenes go on. Um, there's a really neat car chase that comes in when Black Panther and some of the women that he works with come into play in South Korea. That was sweet. I really like that. That's probably the best part of the movie, honestly. Um, Aside from what like the most fun part anyway. A really great part was watching the other characters interact with Black Panther. I don't think really the actual titular Black Panther himself was really that exciting, which is a bummer, because it's his movie, But I do think the women around him were fascinating. Uh, you've got his sister, who's just this kind of sassy, smart talking, but very helpful and loyal. Even if she does flip him the bird once, which that was kind of funny. Um, you have his ex girlfriend, or like his Nakia, and like I guess maybe gonna be back to be his girlfriend. Who knows? They try to figure their love out a little bit, but they don't really do a whole lot of that. Really, she's just this kind of hybrid spy that just kind of comes and goes, and she figures out which tribe she belongs to and who she belongs to. And really, it's just herself. But she's a lot of fun to watch, and she is fantastic in terms of her adaptability and her intuition. You also have this lady who's bald, who is like one of the lead protectors of the Black Panther, um, and she sometimes dons this wig, and it's fun watching her play off and on with that wig, um, and she's very loyal to whoever the Black Panther is supposed to be. So there's actually a part in this movie where Killmonger comes into town, and he challenges the Black Panther. And this is not the first challenge that Black Panther's endured. We watched him defeat someone else from another tribe earlier. But this time, Black Panther, falls off the cliff. And if you think Black Panther is dead at this point, then you haven't been, you know, living. You've been under one of the rocks in Wakanda. um, but he's gone for like I don't know, like a 5-10 minutes. I mean, long enough. I was starting to think, where is he? Where is he gonna come in? How is he gonna come in? Because he's gonna come in, but you just don't know how. So then they bring back like the guy from the first battle that the Black Panther won, and he comes around and helps them out, and more or less resuscitates the Black Panther, the one we want the Black Panther anyway, not Killmonger, because Killmonger takes over the throne and does all these ridiculous things, and you have the one that is more loyal to the Black Panther. Well, she's loyal to this one too because she's loyal to Wakanda, even to the fault of her destruction. Yeah. So there's that kind of message. Then you have Killmonger's pretty much just wanting to kill everyone that's not African. Okay. Yeah. Uh, well, I don't know what else there's to say about that. That's constructive. Um, you have the, the Black Panther you want to see, like T'Challa, um, and he's like, no, we want to have our resources and not just hand them out like candy, and we don't want to kill other people just because they're of a certain race. And Killmonger is pissed because he grew up in Oakland, and that's supposed to complete his character. Okay, I think there were certain things that were done well. You could see why the villain was pissed, but you don't really see a lot of like the protagonist and like who he is as a character. And he's just trying to please his father, and there's a couple of other things that come into play, but nothing that's really of substance. You know more about his female squad than you do the Black Panther. Um, and the other thing too is that the Black Panther with all this technology, which is sweet to look at, but you don't really feel the stakes a whole lot. It just kind of they have funny ways of getting him in and out of power. Like he's he's out of power when it's convenient to the plot, and he's in power when it's convenient to the plot. And the problem with that is that it's glaring enough that when this happens to him, it takes you out of the movie, and as a result, it doesn't keep you sucked in as a movie should. Um, Truthfully, I think this movie is way overhyped. I just do. Um, that being said, I think it is a good movie, and so that might look like I'm trying to kiss ass a little bit, but what I'm getting at here is that I don't like this movie, solely because of the more, social implications of the time, um, which is, that there aren't enough movies made with majority black people, black cast anyway, um, and it's good to have solid role models for black folks. you know, Obviously I don't know what that's like personally. So I think that's great to have those kinds of movies. At the same time, it's hard to really know who the role model is here. Obviously you don't want to be like the bad guy, but the good guy in a way doesn't really have a whole lot going for him in terms of that character development. He has some interesting things that go happen, but they more happen to him as opposed to develop him as a person. And so, if you're really looking for a solid role model, first of all, you shouldn't look to your movies to have role models in life. But second of all, if you're going to look at anyone, as it naturally happens in a movie, as a role model, you want someone who makes the right decision, even when it costs them personally. And how Black Panther applies that is inconsistent, um, which some might say is just the way life is. But damn it, just because you're going to a movie doesn't mean everything should be exactly as how life is. You can have fiction, and then the fiction will come in terms of the technology that they have, and the fact that anyone's fighting in superhero stuff anyway, and land of Wakanda, and so on and so forth. So all that aside, I think there are definitely some great points of this movie. I think the scenes involving the actual antagonist were great. It gave the Black Panther purpose and a reason to be there. I think any of the times that they were trying to make character development happen around Black Panther as a whole, as a character, wasn't really that interesting or developed of a character. I think the women around him were a lot more fun, honestly. I want to see what they can do and how far they can go. Um, yeah, even Black Panther's mom had that kind of, like, where do I help And where do I, hold back? She's, figuring out how to cope with the loss of her husband and even knowing that he's there anyway. Even if he's not physically there, he is there as a presence. I think that's a pretty good message in of itself. Um, yeah, I think it's good to have a movie, you know, out there that has, strong, at least, decent themes out there. But I don't think it's nearly um, as spectacular as everyone's making it out to be. And it's definitely not flawless either. Something else too is the action really is just you try to follow it and you just you start getting a little bit of a headache. Not the worst headache by any means, but you're just like, well, I can't really see what's happening. You can tell they're trying to make the quick cuts so that they can cut corners. You know, probably the best part that was the car scene, and I gotta admit the stuff with Andy Serkis. He was the crazy haired, drunk looking guy the whole time, or like the 2/3 of the movie he was alive in. He had that kind of rogue energy that was much needed, and then Killmonger, who like half looked like he was trying to be Quavo. He was interesting, um, and I think Black Panther as a character has a lot of potential, but he's just kind of there. He does things the right way. He's kind of like the good boy, the golden boy. The one that does everything right. But why does he do everything right? What drives him to do everything right? You don't really get to see a lot of that. It's just kind of like okay, fine. Um, but yeah, I think I would like to know more about this land of Wakanda, figuring out just how they move forward with this. I think something that was interesting too was that Black Panther stabs Killmonger at the end, and, the sword just or the sword whatever you want to call it sticks in there, and you're just like, what is he gonna die or not? They stretch it out a bit, and and then Black Panther's like, oh, well, let me try to save you, which that makes no sense. And then, of course, that gets followed up by Killmonger saying, no, my ancestors said that they preferred death over bondage. And then that's when the movie ends. And you know what? I'd say it was a pretty good ending to it. Um, so yeah, those are my thoughts on Black Panther. Um, I'd give it an A minus. Honestly, I actually like this movie. I think my main point is that you know if you go into this movie with the hype that everyone's making it out to be, this is the best movie of all time. Like you're gonna hate it. If you go there with tempered expectations, saying that is this going to be a good movie or not? You know, on a more objective level, I would say it is a good movie. I don't think it's a great movie, but I think it's a good movie, and I had fun watching it. And in terms of how it fits in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it, it doesn't really do anything. The second post credit scene, because that's what Marvel movies do anymore. No one even tries to leave in the credits ever until the screen's black. But the second post credit scene has this Bucky Barnes, who some of you may know as the Winter Soldier, and he is healed. And you have Shuri, um, who I think was Black Panther's sister. If I got that wrong, I'm sorry. But anyway, one of the women in his life. Um, and he's healing Bucky Barnes, and he's coming back to health. To be honest, I didn't really watch enough of all the MCU to even know who that was. and I'm thankful that I'm not the only one who didn't know. But yeah, that's the only thing that ties in with anything else outside of the Black Panther, you know, landscape. So it just makes you wonder, well, is this information going to tie into anything? Time will tell. We have the third Avengers movie coming out in just a couple months. So we'll see how it all plays out. I'm curious now. I'm one of those a-holes who actually hasn't watched either Avengers movie. I know. I know. What nerve. I do plan on watching those, both of those, before the Avengers 3 Infinity War. I have a little bit of time to do that, so I'll be good. So yeah, just let me know what you think. You know, if you have any suggestions or anything of that nature, just let me know. And I'll figure out what the next, and I'll get this show back on the road hopefully soon. All right, I'll talk to y'all later.